Sean.
Sean, you wanna take us through? Take us through.
Yeah, let's get the ball rolling on episode 70 of Almost a Podcast. Hey, welcome.
Yeah,
This is a podcast.
welcome. Yeah.
But almost.
So,
I have these two people with me, as usual, Colton and Michael, and myself, Sean.
whoa.
I'm only on like 2 hours of sleep, so I'm sorry if I'm like a little
What
Why'd
are
you
you
not
up?
have any
rambly,
sleep? What
you know?
are you doing? What's with the low sleep?
I had to go into work at 9 and stay there till 2:30 to fix an internet issue.
Really? You had
was
to
happening.
you couldn't just like sleep till noon the next day?
I still went in, right? And then my boss was like, "Why are you here?"
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's
Getting the
a good
brownie
boss. Yeah.
So I
Brownie
was there
points.
for a bit, and just getting a couple things in, and then I left around noon. And I also had to get up because I had a dentist appointment in the morning, right?
Oh, that sucks.
I didn't want to miss that.
Yeah.
And that was at 8 a.m. So I'm like,
So,
whole day is
Before we start,
cool. But then
okay. I was going to say, before we start, I do want to mention there's a reason most people listening to this will see a jump between episode 68 and 70. It's because we had a 69 special that we blocked behind Patreon just because of
locked in. A
yeah, just because of the content. We decided to go a little, obviously, because it's the episode 69. We decided to go a little. Yeah,
Very nice.
Bow, 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 a little not safe for work. So, want to keep that. And if we have, I think we all have family members who sometimes listen to this podcast. So, we're trying to like separate that in that way. Like,
Yeah, don't listen
Yeah.
to that episode, Mom.
yeah,
All right?
exactly. Yeah.
If you listen to it, it's on you. I cannot.
It's on
Yeah,
you.
right.
at
There's
that
no
point, all right?
judgment you can have, and sorry. Yeah, you got what you paid for. $5. What I don't even know what the actual paywall will be or the Patreon fee will be for that one. But
Yeah, just visit the Patreon. You will find out.
yeah,
Yep.
thanks for supporting. If you did see that episode last
We
week,
appreciate it.
Yeah, good mention, Michael. Yeah, so we've been wanting to talk about something for a while, which is travel related stuff, right? So we're going on a trip pretty soon and to Spain. And we've all had several travel experiences in our lives, and we've done a couple trips together. And of various types of travel, right? There's the outdoor travel, and there's like cross-country travel, and there's like convention travel. Like we've done quite a bit
International
of,
travel.
of traveling, which has been very, very. It's I don't know the right
Fortuitous.
phrase to use. Fortuitous, very fortuitous. Fortunate to have been able to do all that. So we thought, let's talk about some of the travel stuff, travel tips, or just things that we do, right? Because I have a very specific way of traveling usually, and what I take and what I bring and my methodology and whatnot. And it may not be the same for everybody. And then also maybe just, we'll do some brainstorming for Spain because
Yeah.
I haven't done much, and I think it'd be fun to talk about some cool stuff to do there, which will help the viewers and us.
yeah, it'll be like a tips for travel plus we've done a little research for Spain and we can share that knowledge. If you guys don't have a specific starting point, I actually I had a spot where I am curious and I am trying to get tips from you guys on something. If you guys want to start with that.
Go for
Yes,
it.
we'll
So
teach you.
So this is going to be the first time when I usually travel anywhere, even like back home, whether it's in the car, in the plane, I'm always bringing a sizable personal item and a sizable carry-on. For Spain, not going to do that this time. I'm trying to go light. I bought a specialty backpack, like a backpacking backpack for international travel. That's not for like hiking, but for taking on trips.
Like a traveler's backpack.
Yeah, a traveler's
is what I would call
backpack
it.
meant to give you enough to kind of live out of for a couple weeks, right? And obviously, I'm an overpacker. Weirdly enough, I pack a lot of different outfits. I love doing that, having all the stuff. But now I'm limited. I'm limited to probably about 55 liters total of space, which is about the size of probably a single carry-on that I would bring on a plane. So I'm curious on your guys' strategy for the clothes you're going to bring. Like, I got to downsize. So what are the essentials that I should bring, and what do you think are some easy things? Well, like, what are you doing with that? Because you guys have done that before. What do you guys consider in this packing phase?
My thought process always starts out of what can I rewear? What is something that I can use in, like, it's a Swiss Army knife pair of like item, right? For me, it starts with shoes and pants. So shoes, I only usually bring 2 pairs. I bring a slightly nice pair that I keep in my bag. Actually, no, sorry. I wear this slightly nice pair. So they tend to be like a boots, or I have like a pair of chinos, or like a just something that's like, made of leather, right? They're not as walkable, but they're nice. Say if I have to go to some place fancy, I always like to have the option to go someplace and like not, I may not bring a suit every trip, but I'm
look like me whenever you go.
I'm not wearing a tank top and shorts, right?
Completely dressed
Sean
down.
in Japan. Yeah.
You're trying to be like, so if you go out and you want to look nice, you have the option to look nice.
Absolutely.
And you want to have
I usually
those,
have
like,
one dedicated. So like that's either normally it's a pair of dark wash jeans that honestly I usually wear the dark wash jeans on the plane. Sometimes I bring a second pair in the bag.
What's dark wash?
Just a very dark color, because they can go both as a casual or like a somewhat business casual, a casual look, or you can go kind of not technically formal, but you can usually pull off a good clean, like somewhat more refined look with a dark wash. So just honestly, the ones I'm wearing right now, they're a dark color. I'm showing these
it's
guys
like
through
really
Discord.
navy blue, like
But yeah,
really
like a very
navy
dark,
kinda.
dark
Yeah,
navy
it's
blue,
dark.
not black, but like a dark navy blue. Yeah, and they're
not
super
black,
versatile.
Golden. Don't wear that.
It's like a relaxed formal, which is kind of, it's not business casual, but it's, you could wear a sport coat with dark wash jeans
Exactly.
if you wanted. Yeah.
You can wear a nice sport coat, and honestly, that's like if I need to go to a fancy restaurant, that'd be my go-to because
Gotcha.
versatility, right? Second thing is I maximize on the plane. I remember when we were doing
the layers on the plane?
So it's funny
Okay.
because during one of our
I will say
meetings,
this is only something you can do from things that are not warm places. I was never able to do this in California.
It's
right?
true, yeah.
But
So I mean, you still can't. I'm always slightly cold on planes, so I usually wear I'll layer up, I'll wear a light jacket, and then I'll just ball that up, and then I'll wear one of my wool outerwear kind of guys, since I usually carry one of those around. But obviously flying out of Michigan, it's the middle of winter. I gotta have a jacket, so I usually have a light. I wear my light, my bulkiest stuff, with me on the plane, and I just deal with it in the plane since I'm going to be a little chilly. And that way I'm not using space in my bag. I'm just using space in my body. That's why I always wear jeans on a plane. It's not about comfort, it's about transport for a plane. Especially flying, it's not like I'm flying business class. I'm flying on I'm flying economy. So it's it's not going to be comfortable regardless. So plus, honestly, the jeans I get are pretty comfortable.
Okay, yeah. I get you for layering up, but honestly, for being uncomfortable, I'm just gonna wear all my shorts on, and then I'm gonna put all my sweatpants on, or I'm gonna put shorts and then sweatpants over it. I think that's what I would do instead of the jeans.
Yeah, but I also think so. For me, it's like jeans. I don't expect to wash because they're jeans. So it's on the plane they can get I always feel like the stuff that you have on the plane. I usually bag it up after, right? So when I arrive and I go through my first change, I usually bag up that stuff that I wore on the plane, and then just save it for the plane trip back because it's already kind of plain gross, and so I kind of just wear the same shit. Obviously, the same pair of underwear, but usually the same kind of layer. Maybe not the same shirt, not same underwear, but same pants, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I feel like I am totally different.
So different tips from Mike and Sean here. Okay.
All right, Sean.
Okay.
What's your thought process?
Well, let's take what you wear on the plane, right? I'm trying to maximize comfort, right, in most of these in most of these areas. So
Colton's going to like your advice more.
Well, I'm not necessarily going to wear, a tank top, right? But I'll wear just something that is comfortable to me. Sometimes if it's if I'm flying out of a colder climate, right now it's cold, so I can put on a jacket and something, and wear that to the plane, and then I could take it off in my seat, which does save some space in the bag. But it's not usually the goal. We're going international, and those are typically colder flights. So I would probably take a jacket anyway on this one. But yeah, I might even wear like my pajama pants onto the plane this time just to
kick back.
relax it. It's gonna be a 10-hour flight. I'm gonna be sleeping, hopefully, which is another thing. Is the whatchamacallit. I'm gonna get one of those neck brace things,
The neck pillow things you have.
neck pillows.
Yeah.
Because I on short flights it's not a problem, right? On long flights, I think it's a necessity because I can't personally. I am not comfortable falling asleep on a plane without something that braces my head.
I
And
see,
Michael
yeah.
just brought out his one, but the one that he has, I don't like at all.
Really?
Like that
So
specific
This
model.
is the one I got from
Why?
Japan.
Yeah, because there's and it also, I will say this works for me, not necessarily for everybody, but specifically the one Michael has is definitely the standard one. It's just
It's like the U shape?
like a U sausage shape, The one I'm
Piece of
getting,
bologna.
piece of bologna. The one I'm getting has it stands up more, right? So it's like it probably braces you a bit more. I think at least it would for me. It's also just super cheap. Like I don't intend for this to last the whole trip. It just needs to be there and back. It's like a $17 thing,
Yeah.
and that's all I need.
But that's worthy of
But
packing.
that's definitely plane methodology, right? Like I'm trying to
Yeah.
maximize comfort, and I just want to, be good throughout the whole way. What I always take on the plane with me is a water bottle,
Yep.
and I have an Nalgene that I just take everywhere. So you empty that out before you go through security, fill it up at your gate, and then I have water for the flight because I hate being on flights and I'm dying of thirst, and the wait
Oh, yeah.
the thing never comes by. It's like I rather just have.
Yeah,
my
you can hit
water.
the little dinger on the top, right? You just go, hey.
No, I don't want to bother anybody.
So Sean just doesn't want to be rude. That's
Honestly,
fair, though.
Yeah, but I'm excited for this. Is our first international trip since Japan, and you know what that
Yeah.
means? Free wine on the flight.
Yeah.
Amazing. And
Really?
I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I mean, Japan was free wine. I'm expecting free
I know
wine
from
on this
I know
flight.
for my carrier, it's
Depends on your who you're flying with.
yeah. With my carrier, it's free. I'm flying Delta.
Who are you flying with? Oh, I'm flying Delta.
Yeah,
I'm flying Delta.
Delta international trips will give you free alcohol.
I'm also boys.
Awesome.
Lads. I am also exit row every single flight.
Oh, you son of a
Oh,
bitch! That's
how'd
so
you,
nice.
How'd you get that? Did you pay for that?
We paid. So Carly and I were really nervous about not sitting next to each other. So we paid, and it was like an extra $5 to just be an exit row versus
Oh.
choosing a specific.
It's usually
spot.
like $30 or
Yeah.
more.
we did it, and we were like, "This is great."
Yeah,
it was
so-
a lot of money to
I'm
choose your
jealous.
seat in general, but if we're gonna
Okay.
do it, might as well do the exit seat. So
Who are you flying with?
I'm Delta, the same as you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think it. I thought as if it's pretty standard to be able to choose your seat. No.
I don't remember us being able to choose our seat. I had to pay extra.
Huh. I think I could choose it, but I think it was included with whatever I bought.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Really?
Yeah.
What the fudge?
But it does cost money to get an exit row.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I was pretty sure I had to.
It didn't used
pay-
to.
I
Exit.
would pay
Yeah, I
extra
know,
money.
right? Because everyone knows exit row now is just the way to go.
Yeah,
because
they
basically
figured it out.
it's economy business class because you get so much legroom.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for like people like basketball. Like there's one time I was sitting next to a basketball player, and it's like, dude, it did not
There's
work
no
out.
helping him.
Yeah,
It's
it's like 6'5".
I
and you're
always
like, oh, I'm sorry, man.
I always sit aisle row because for me there's more legroom in an aisle.
That's funny because I am the opposite. I prefer window because I like having the like. I'm not someone who can really sleep like vertical, like sitting back.
That's
right?
what the pillow's for.
Yes, but like
Yeah.
even doing this, I can't. But if I'm leaning on this, like
Yeah.
like at like a weird like kind of slouch angle, then I'm fine. And that's what the window seat's fun. Plus, I also like looking out, and I don't pee often, so that's like my main
Right.
thing. Is I'm like as long as I'm not peeing often. I also
Yeah.
don't mind middle because I get to talk to both sides, and if one
Oh,
person,
God, I hate the middle
Mike's
for that
every
reason.
plane passenger's worst nightmare.
I-
A sociable
you,
person.
You'd also be the person I hate on a plane. I'm like, shut up. I'm just trying to sleep right now.
well, if someone's trying to sleep, but like if you meet someone that is conversational, for instance, my last was not my last flight. Last flight, I got full. No one else was in my row. It was fucking perfect.
That's great.
That's even better. But like the flight previous to that, some French woman, I was talking with her all the time, and she was very sociable. She's an extrovert. I'm an extrovert, so it's like, hey, it works out. But yeah, I mean, middle row is like because like you're stuck between two sweaty people normally, especially as a solo traveler. But you know, it works out for extroverts.
I'm a big window guy just because the show Lost. You guys remember that show?
Yeah.
It scarred me. They had like the scene where the bags fell out of the overhead things and was like killing people.
Yeah.
It was just killing everyone in the aisle. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna be in the window.
Cole's reason is so much more traumatizing than the rest
That's why I
of
have
ours.
bad dreams.
Ours is just like, we're introvert versus extrovert, and then Cole's
Yeah.
like, I am traumatized.
I do
Or
not
just
want to die.
space, like legroom. Yeah, I'll sit anywhere, right? But there's definitely I prefer the aisle. I ranked them, it's aisle, window, middle.
Absolutely,
is
yeah.
the worst. I would say.
The beauty of the aisle, though, I find is usually, especially as a solo traveler, you can usually get your bag as the plane's like taxiing, like if you could be sneaky about it, and literally book it to the front, so you have like an extra 10 minutes. Like I remember there's one trip where
Wait. You mean like as it's landed?
Like while it's still
Well,
moving.
basically,
Yeah.
once they like park and everyone's like kind of getting ready, you can just kind of go do and just like get toward the front, like right where first. I had like 10 minutes between two flights once, and that was basically my strategy. I was like, hey, can I swap with you, do aisle seat so I can get the fuck out of here? And that it actually worked out. So it's kind of a dick move, I'll be honest, but it like
But if you have 10 minutes, it's acceptable.
Yeah.
I'd give
yeah,
you a
yeah.
pass
You
on
had
that.
a reason. I
Pe-
was saying, if you
people
do
are
that every time.
understandable.
Otherwise, I was going to call you out.
Yeah, if you did it every time, be like, oh, Mike,
Oh
you're
God,
that
no.
guy. But no, it's a
I
one-time
don't care.
thing.
It's honestly, it pisses me off when like I'll call my dad out on this one, but he's like he wants to get out off the plane as first, even though we're at the final destination. I'm like, dude, chill out. It's fine.
It's like, this is so
I
much
def-
hassle.
Whenever it lands, and you know, if anyone who's flown at least more than a couple times, you know, as soon as you land and or hit the gate and the seatbelt sign goes off, everyone goes ting ting ting, like everybody buckles and stands
Yeah,
up. And I'm like, what are you doing?
You hear
We're gonna
the
be here for another 10 minutes, and I just sit. You know, I wait leisurely.
Stoic.
Pack up I keep reading my book usually. You know,
yeah.
People are too much in a rush for that.
I just check my phone, make sure I can like connect, and then because I'm one of those people who actually does turn on airplane mode on a plane.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people do
I
that.
just battery saver if anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no point.
Okay. Yeah.
I do. I kind
Although-
of want to go back though.
I do.
Right.
I want to go back to the previous topic before we derail too
packing.
crazy off into
I wanted
planes.
to go to the packing, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of my packing methodology, right? So it depends on the trip, but usually it's about the same, right? I have a duffel bag that I've had now for several years. Really like one of the REI duffel bags. I think it's like a 60-liter one, but I don't usually ever pack it that full. And then I have a backpack that I take as well. It's like a small like day pack.
Yeah.
We all have
And-
the same setup, I think.
Similar, yeah.
Similar setup. Yeah.
Now, sometimes I will put the backpack in the duffel bag for the plane, right? And sometimes I will have them separate for like a personal item and a carry-on. I'll have them separate this time, I believe. But I'm still gonna be able to fit it all in the same thing, right? I'm not gonna double up on stuff, most likely. But I'll put the most important things inside my backpack, and then everything else I'll just put in the duffel bag. I never need to reference it
Yep.
because I got everything on my
And it's
bag.
always like on you too, right? Like, even
Yeah.
if you're doing a personal item, you're putting it in front of you. I was like that. That's why my biggest thing is I just don't do carry-ons, mostly because of like the control thing. I'm like, I don't like giving my bag because if I want to get somewhere, I can just go.
You don't check bags, you mean?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I don't check bags at all, and that's why I do like some similar to Sean, 45-liter duffel pack. Mine's a Max Edition. Thing's freaking bulletproof, man. Like I've beaten the shit out of it, and it still is great.
Is that
But,
the Osprey Porter?
No. It's a Maxpedition is the
yeah.
brand.
Gotcha.
And yeah, that thing pretty beefy. And one thing I love about it is it has these cinch straps on the side, which are like
Yeah,
buckles.
mine's got that too.
Yeah, and you literally just when you're ready to go and you have like everything packed, right? You just pull on those and it just yanks it into like this tiny, it like cinches it all tight.
It just makes sure nothing shifts around
Yeah.
inside or prevents that
My
usually.
other recommendation is Ranger Roll all of your shirts. If you don't know what that
Ranger
is,
Roll.
just look it up. I was learned from one of my old military coworker. And it's just a way to wrap up your clothes. You just wrap it up really, really tight. It works great for like polyester, cotton too, but like you just wrap those things up super tight. And it allows you to pack in a lot more shirts, like especially like lightweight shirts. You can just pack a lot of stuff in there.
Gotcha.
My biggest packing brain unlock was when I got packing cubes.
Okay,
Right,
yeah.
packing
I'm gonna try
cubes.
using those as well this trip. I think
This is
So I
new to me.
Really? So they're just like containers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except they're not solid and they're just like cube-ish shaped, rectangular shaped. And ever since I got those, I use them for everything, right? And
Yeah.
for when I pack, right? So I have, all socks and underwear in one, and then I have the shirts and pants in another one or something like that. And although pants usually are outside of the cubes because they're the biggest thing, but
Yeah.
it's like such a great way for myself to organize things, and also it keeps everything together, right?
Yeah.
So you could do your Ranger wrap and put them in this cube, and then they're all together.
Yeah.
Squeeze them even more.
Now,
I'm a big
here's
fan. And then I also have I carry a spare one with me that I put like dirty stuff into.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's smart,
Like
yeah.
a
Wash
hamper.
it.
I just usually use if the hotel usually I'll have like a laundry bag. I'll just use that for my my
do
dirties.
they?
Yeah, I don't know
didn't
about
even know that.
Airbnbs, but like most hotels will have the laundry bag, quote unquote. Now, here's my question, Sean: is what's your like normal packing? Like, how many days do you usually pack for? Like,
That's a good
Like-
question.
Well,
For
like
me, it's 7.
Let's take Spain for example, right? It's always different depending on the trip, right? So Spain will be in there for what, 8, 10 days?
10 days, I think.
10 days, yeah.
Let's say
around
10.
there.
So for 10 days, I know if I were to take, 1 for 1 for a lot of stuff, even just socks and underwear, it's going to be a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'll probably usually pack for about 4 to 5 days for this trip, and then just wash stuff as I go.
Yeah.
But I usually take some extra socks, like an extra pair of socks and maybe an extra pair of underwear, right?
yeah,
But as far as shirts, I mean, they can be reused or washed more often. And then with pants, right? I'm going to take 1 pair of pants. I'm going to take a pair of jeans, right? And that'll be my general mode. I guess it does depend on the weather a bit, right? And what we're doing. Like if I'm going to be more active, I will take something that is more breathable and probably dorkier because, it's not going to look as good as just jeans,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But it's going to make me more comfortable. And then for this trip, because we're going to be going to a fancy meal place, I'm going to take like a separate pair of slacks type things and a nice dress shirt, and not dress shirt, but a little nice
Like a
shirt.
polo. Yeah. Collared shirt.
Well, no, it's like a long sleeve thing with a design thing. It's nice.
Okay.
It's just short of dress shirt, but it's like a nice long sleeve
yeah. Okay.
with a button up and everything. Maybe a vest. I'm still deciding on that part.
A vest. That's kind of up there. And,
I mean,
and
yeah,
It-
well,
it is
that's a
a,
nice
it is a
place.
Michelin star restaurant though. So
It's a 3-star Michelin restaurant.
did
I
we-
think.
I
is-
didn't
is
even
it
know-
3? I thought it was only 2.
Oh well, the
It's
two,
regardless.
2, 3.
It's like
I
still
didn't even know
fancy
we were
as fuck.
going to this place. Where are we
Well,
going?
you're not.
Oh, I'm not.
Are you not?
We had to get. You had to. Oh, it's. Alex got reservations for myself, her. She threw it out at one point, and I don't know who responded or not, but it's myself, her, Denzel, and Michael. I think.
Yeah, I think it was the 4 people, and that was the 4 of us who responded. Because I think you, Zach, and Carly didn't respond to it.
Oh, I didn't even know this was a thing.
We had to book this like months in advance.
I would have definitely been into it, but I didn't even know this existed.
Oh,
like
that
so.
sucks.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well.
There's always another Michelin
I
star
mean,
next time.
there's literally going to be
Dude,
fancy
let's go to the
restaurants
Michelin star
anyway.
in Japan.
was-
Probably
oh my
blow
God,
that
dude.
Say, I'm gonna. How long ago did she book this? Just out of curiosity.
Back in November, I think.
November. Is this the one that's like the really old place? It's really
No,
really old.
this is like new. It's like a chef that she loves,
It's,
and like she watches on
Oh.
Instagram or YouTube or something
Okay.
like that. And I was like, all right, sure.
It's something X. Something X. What's it called? Hold on.
Okay.
I'll
There's-
find it.
There's a restaurant that keeps popping up in Spain, just a small aside. That's like super old. It's been around longer than like the United States or something like that. And I thought this was this place.
That's cool.
I'm gonna get the name of this restaurant, and I'm gonna get a reservation for the same time
Just
you guys
Carly,
got a
and
reservation.
Zach, and
That
just,
would be really funny.
it would be.
I'm gonna
No.
do this out of spite.
There's plenty of nice restaurants though. Like you pack one like nice set of clothes, right? You know, for me,
Ravio X. is what it's
Ravio
called.
X. Oh, okay, all right. So yeah,
It's dumplings.
I thought it was
it's
like
like-
everything. Like
Yeah. I couldn't read the menu, but
That's true,
As
yeah.
far as I'm aware,
Oh my god! I
it's
look up
dumplings.
I look up Rabio X, and it's like Link cross some other character like relationship, like making out. This did not help me at all.
do you have safe search
Look
off
up
or something?
Ravio X Madrid, I think.
Yeah.
I did. Oh, it said I actually accidentally did Rabio X Link. No, this is not what I want.
Yeah. But that, yeah. So going there, I'm with Sean, except I usually I hate slacks personally. So except for my one very nice pair of slacks, but that's with like a full suit. So I take that very sparingly. I have just a pair of dark wash jeans normally. Sometimes I'll bring 2. Probably for this trip, I'll bring 2 because the weather seems to be like flipping between, good temperatures like in the 70s to like 40s. So I don't know what it's going to be.
It's probably going to be 40s at night and 70s
Yeah.
during the day, which
So-
is going to be perfect, I think. That's
I
awesome
agree. Yeah,
weather.
I love that. So like 2 and 2 pairs of shorts and then 2 pairs of pants, and then shirts. I usually pack for 7 shirts usually, and then one of those is
7 shirts.
is a dress
That's a lot.
shirt. Yeah, I can use.
I guess I'll probably take similar. I'll be in the 5 to 6 range probably.
But here's the real. I think Sean and I are both on this. Get ex officio or some kind of like underwear that you can wash really easily. Because like the underwear I usually pack 5 pairs. I've got 3 pairs of ex officio and the 2 like fancy Calvin Klein, night fuckboy underwears.
I only take Exficio when I'm camping.
Really?
I won't take that on this trip, right? I'll just take my regular stuff.
Really? See, that's so funny because I wear ex officios like fairly day to day. Like,
Yeah, no, I only use them for camping.
okay. Because
Personally.
yeah.
They're great. I see them as great travel underwear, right? But I don't know. It to me, I don't.
Yes, okay. So
I
basically,
don't have a good explanation.
I bring
but it's
those,
just preference.
and those are awesome because you can just wash them, and they dry super quick, and they're antimicrobial. So they really help, and allows me to just hand wash because like say if I somehow don't have access to any kind of laundry machine throughout this trip, right? Boom, I can hand wash my underwear at least, and at least I have one of those things.
Sure.
And then socks usually.
But we do have
Fi-
washing machines at every place, so there's
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I usually have 5 pairs, and then I have a toiletries kit that I keep always. It's like my travel toiletries. That's my biggest recommendation, honestly, for you, Colton, is set up a toiletries kit that has everything. I have a needle and thread. I have the Tresemme. It's the same Tresemme shampoo and conditioner from our New York trip that we picked up from like some Rite Aid or some shit, right?
A tiny little travel one.
Yeah, exactly. Just toothpaste, a travel toothbrush. So it's like the tiny little guys that can like you can pop out. But that thing like can sit either inside my bag or mole attached to it. And it's pretty awesome.
I'm taking a little shampoo. I have a little I bought a little shampoo thing that I put my own shampoo into.
Yeah.
So I'll take that.
That's smart.
But
the thing I hate about Airbnb is they just never have that. So I'm like, well, fuck, we gotta get that now.
Gotta buy it or
sometimes
something.
most times they do, in my experience. But I always take it just in case. But definitely smaller stuff. I mean, Colton, if you're trying to downpack, right? I think the key is just don't do 1-to-1, right?
Yeah.
If you can reuse it and realize that you can wash things, right? And then I think the other part, not just like packing with clothes, but the other things you bring, right? For me, I'm bringing electronics, right? But I'm actually bringing less than I normally would. I'm not going to bring my laptop this trip. Just got my phone and my GoPros.
Okay.
And
Good. Colton can use one of them to do stupid shit
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually taking 3.
Oh, jeez.
I found
plenty of
another one that
perspectives.
I forgot that I had. It's one of the tiny little sessions that I haven't used in forever.
Yeah.
And I thought, why not bring that?
I just still remember, this is bringing back memories of Colton just like doing drunk antics on the GoPros.
That's what I need. That's why I give him a GoPro.
This
for.
is what we do. This is what we need.
See,
Yeah,
Colton is like a decent entertainer, beginning with, and then is just an excellent entertainer when he has any kind of
drunk,
alcohol in him.
I just start getting
especially when he's
goofy.
drunk.
Well,
you're such
and also like if
you're
ever
such a
we
goose.
split the group, right?
Yeah.
Some people go that way, some people that way. You can always give that person a GoPro, and you get some good footage at the end. Because I should explain why I'm taking a bunch of GoPros, because I like to make travel videos from all the trips we do, or I have done, and I don't know, it's a fun way for me to remember stuff and for other people, so I tend to do that quite a bit. I usually take a laptop, right, because generally you film a lot and it fills up your card, so you bring a laptop to put it onto a hard drive or upload it somewhere. But I figured I didn't want to do that because it's a lot of weight, a lot of space. And I figured other SD cards are cheap. So I just bought more SD cards.
Just bought a lot of, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
It's
I don't.
It's insane
I think
how
I'll
like
be
a
good.
2 terabyte SD card is like nothing now.
Well, I mean, that's well expensive, right? But I got 256 gigabyte one, which gives you about 4 hours of 4K footage from a GoPro. And that was what, 20 something bucks,
Yeah.
18 bucks.
not bad.
So not bad. So I could get another one if I was really feeling that I was going to stretch it. But I have that 128 and a couple others, so I think it should be good. But also, it's something you can find wherever you go. You can just go to buy a SD card wherever.
And they're light, they're space saving, right?
It's tiny.
They're compact.
Tiny.
They're made for this.
It's not like they're any extra weight, right?
Yeah, and I have this case that I can contain them all in.
Oh,
really
that's
well.
nice.
It's completely shock and waterproof and everything. And I've had that for forever. That's small. So, that's definitely my goal. And then the other things I'm taking, because I'm not taking a laptop, I only need to charge my phone and my headphones, noise canceling
are key.
headphones, key. I use earbuds personally. I don't like the big things, but whatever, preference. And going over, this is, I think, the biggest thing for me here. If you're going overseas, they have different wall plugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
They do. Yes.
different electrical grid standards. So for me, there's 2 ways to go about that. You can get a adapter or a converter. And I personally never go with the converter because they're bulky and they're heavy and blah, blah. You get an adapter, which just converts the prongs to the American prongs.
Right.
And for the most part, this is where you got to do your research, but for the most part, all the stuff that you have can accept European power. You just got to make sure, right? European Power was like
I think 220,
50
right?
hertz at 240, I think, volts.
Yeah, versus American,
And-
which is 120.
120 at 60 hertz.
Yeah.
I think. And everything can accept that pretty much, right? So I have a little just wall plug, right, that can charge USB-C and USB-A. That plugs into a little adapter, and then I can charge all my stuff.
Yeah.
And then I also take a little power brick, right? I have
yeah.
a 2,000 milliamp one, but that's big and bulk and heavy. And I'm like, So I just got a new one for 10,000 amps, 10,000 milliamps, 10,000 amps,
10,000.
10,000
Whoa.
milliamps. Which, to put that in perspective, I think an iPhone is about like 5,000, give or take.
Yeah,
milliamps.
milliamp hours
So
or
it gives
something
you
like
like
that.
2 charges. And it's smaller, slimmer, and it was only $17. And it's from a brand that I know has good products in the sphere. So, I mean, that's all I'm taking as far as electronics go. It's pretty slim down, I would say.
Yes.
The GoPros. If I wasn't
Yeah.
taking that,
The-
then it would be almost nothing.
The power adapter is or the power adapter and the power brick are definitely things, because like I've gone literally a full trip just on a power adapter or the power brick before. I have a
Yeah, it's
I have
all
a
you need.
I have a 15,000 milliamp like Jackery, and
Yeah.
that thing does the trick. And I get usually 4 to 5 charges for my phone off that, and that can last me an entire trip depending on how much I use my phone. If I'm like what we did in Japan and I'm the go-to for like Google Maps, then obviously that's going to drain power. But if I'm just using it as like communication tool, then yeah, yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
So I'm showing it right here to you guys. I got the little adapter, right? Tiny little thing. It's got two spots to plug stuff in. It just plugs into the wall. It's a tiny little adapter, and they sell these like I couldn't find a single one of these. I have 2 of these now, so I'm bringing both and gonna give them to somebody on the
Okay.
trip.
Yeah.
But they sell them in like 4 packs, 2, 4, 6 packs for like $4 to $6.
Nothing.
Like it's super cheap.
Yeah.
And this guy is just the thing that plugs into the wall.
Is that
just
like a
goes-
65 watt kind of guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you charge
I
everything.
mean, 32 probably something. I mean, it doesn't. You don't need much, right? I'm just charging a phone and a battery pack, right? This tiny little. It's like the size of a phone. This battery
Yeah,
pack.
yeah.
And it's so little space compared to sometimes what I normally pack. So I'm very excited for this trip because I am actually slimming down my own equipment,
Which is already fairly slim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if you can fit most stuff into a 60-liter bag, I mean, not hardcore slimmers or whatever, people who do backpacking on 30-liter backpack, they might not think it's slim, but I think by my standards, it's definitely slim. It's like basically, yeah, it's like for me, it's going to be like, don't pack. If I'm away for 10 days, don't pack for 10 days, pack for 4 days to 5 days. Bring
Yeah.
3 pairs of jeans, or sorry, not 3 pairs of jeans, 3 pairs of pants, probably 1 pair of shorts,
Yeah.
shirts, and and include like a nice pair of clothes in there.
Yeah,
And
and
are you guys? I was just curious. You guy aren't bringing any hiking shoes, right? Because I know we're
No.
going on some hikes, and we're not going to need those. You don't think?
I don't think we're going.
I don't think we're going on anything like hike where you need dedicated.
gear.
I'm just bringing
Yeah.
tennis shoes. I think that will just be fine.
I personally hate bringing more than 1 pair of shoes. Right?
I mean, they're
What I'm
bulky.
wearing.
They're really
They are.
bulky.
They are.
Yeah.
They're really, but I have really
But
lightweight
I'm not going
tennis
to take
shoes.
hiking shoes.
I have really lightweight tennis shoes. That's why, like, they're like the foam like ones that just I can just compress them down into fucking nothing, and then they're just like flat in my bag, and they fit really well. Honestly, they just go in the laptop slot for my bag.
If I have space, I might bring a pair of Vans.
Oh,
Additionally,
yeah.
Okay.
to my normal like city walking shoes.
Yeah.
Because as a tourist in a foreign country, you're going to do a lot of walking. So I need to be comfortable in how that's going about. But if I'm going to a fancy place, I'd like to bring something nice, and I do not want to take my my dress shoes. Those would suck to just
Yeah.
carry around for the one purpose.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
the Vans, I could wear them for a night out a couple times.
Yeah, that's
you know.
that's nice enough. I might bring my Sperry's because those slim down really well, and I'll can walk in those or bring those out nicely. So that might be
Yeah.
the duo I bring. So, yeah,
Yeah, there's packing smart, and then there's just bringing the kitchen
there's
sink.
just bringing
Yeah.
bringing your whole
There's a
closet
lot of
with
stuff
you.
that you
Then,
don't.
then what's your kitchen sink item?
Oh, like if I was gonna bring something.
Yeah.
Like your PC or your server or something. That's the kitchen sink.
No, like something like
Um,
okay, it's like if you're like okay, this is something I should bring, like, you know, just big bulky item that you're like fuck it, I may need to carry on for this. What's going to be?
I don't know. I don't usually bring stuff like that.
I don't think. Yeah, like coats. I don't know. Like I'm bringing my Steam Deck. That's huge.
Yeah.
But I'm
For
bringing
me, it's
that.
like
They'll be
suit
for you.
suit jacket's the thing I can think of. It's like
Yeah,
all right,
like a
like
coat.
for instance, for the wedding that I went to earlier this year, I'm like I need to
Yeah.
bring a suit jacket, and I actually got that in a carry on, but I was only there for like 3.5 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can slim down on other things, right? So,
Yeah.
but and the beauty too, right, Holden, is like bring 2 pairs of shorts. You can have multiple different outfits out of that. So
Yeah, that's the thing.
because you can mix
Yeah.
mix and match with different shirts, right? Like I usually just bring a lighter pair of shorts and a dark pair of shorts, right? Like
That's what I just do
khakis
it.
and something else, and it's like, all right, it works.
That's what I do normally. It's like I don't have as many shorts as shirts, of course. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't started packing yet, but next week I will. I'm just gonna start, laying out the things. I wanna
that's
take and make
hilarious
sure-
because I like pack like the day before, like honestly, like 15 minutes
Really?
before. I'm like,
it depends on the trip. International, I'll take more time.
Yeah, I think I'll
right?
take a couple days to make sure I lay it all out. I gotta do a test fit because I'm using these backpacks for the first time, so
Oh, that's
I gotta
true,
make
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I might return one of them because I got a backpack that has 2 backpacks that splits into 2, and I realized my backpack I already have fits into the slot and can be secured by
Yeah.
the bigger backpack. So I might return the 2-in-1 and just get the one that's bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to do a test run.
yeah.
But
I'm also terrible at I just forget things. Like somehow packing, right? It depends, right? If I'm just going on like a trip, I forget stuff all the time. If I'm backpacking, I actually bring everything I need, right?
That's pretty impressive.
I don't know why the distinction is, but I will just forget stuff, right?
And it's
I
that
need to
one
start
thing
laying
too
it
that
out.
always to me it's either
Yeah.
sunglasses or deodorant. Those are the
sunglasses
two that
Yeah.
are the worst to forget. That's like the worst thing to
It's
forget.
honestly because here's the thing: is like my
Sunglasses for me are the
favorite
worst.
pair I always keep in my car in the little sunglasses holder, so I always forget to pick them up when I'm
Hmm.
like going on a trip, right? So I even have like a spot in my bag for sunglasses specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
I always have to remember like, okay,
That's
go
why
into
I'm
the
going
car.
to take more time
Yeah.
this trip.
I usually bring a second pair of sunglasses, like a shitty pair, but
Yeah,
like, my
just
I
in
bring
decent pair.
case.
several pairs of sunglasses. I have
Several
a pair
pairs.
in my backpack and a couple pairs in my duffel. Like I just have them everywhere because otherwise I'll just forget them.
Yeah, exactly
I will,
right.
I will say, if
And I need
I'm
them.
gonna forget sunglasses on this trip, that'd be a great souvenir. Sunglasses from Madrid or Barcelona. Okay, that'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool.
All right, we have focused too much on
Yeah, we
just
gotta
lily
get-
packing.
We can
So
go
what-
off from this. Yeah, we can go.
What
off.
about
aspect.
yeah? We
It is
spent
an
like
important aspect.
40 minutes unpacking. What about your like the general like trip planning? I know we kind of all share the same way, right? It's one thing like if I
We
go,
all have a good balance.
Yeah,
I
right?
think
'Cause
so.
I think we have different things we like to do and stuff, but
I don't know.
but
I
we
feel
all
like we all
balance it
have the
out, I think.
system down because we all have kind of agreed on the system when we go, right? It's
true.
And we've
Yeah.
got, we I think we got it to the best point it was in Japan is that we
Yeah.
did all right. So what were the 3 things? Is we created an Excel spreadsheet. Sean, you actually took yours that you had from was it?
previous trips.
Previous trips, yeah. And you had adapted that to Japan, and that was like, okay, it's a cost estimate, so you understand what your relative costs are, so you can budget things, right?
Yep, it's
You've got-
it's a tight budget
Yeah.
kind of
so
calculator.
you
for
put
you.
in what your lodging is, right? Before we can do this, we should first go about how we plan trips, right? We plan trips. You get the transportation down,
Well,
and you get the lodging down, and then what you're actually doing at
Yeah.
those locations it doesn't really matter during the
It's very
day-to-day.
laissez-faire. My methodology to
Yeah.
trip planning.
Yeah.
All right, we want to know where we're going to be, and we want to know how we're going to get there. But what we're going to do there, it's up to interpretation. And one of
And
the things I think
happenstance.
one of the things I think we do well to prep for that is we have a Google Sheet, shared Google Map, right, that you can add pins to. So when you're in an area, you can open the map and say, oh, we found this cool thing to do. Let's go there. Same for food or activities or all that stuff.
Yeah. And the beauty of that too is you can literally download it to your Google Maps on your phone and it's just there, right? So when you can just use that as an overlay, be like, oh, we're close to this cool restaurant or this attraction, right?
Yeah.
And we just go, all right, let's go there.
I feel like this is like the one feature that is super helpful that like a lot of people don't know about because it's kind of it's not like a share. It's separate from Google Maps, but it's the same. It's kind of weird. You basically have to share a Google Map, and then everyone has access to it in the drive, and then you can download once you're done. And this is what I plan on doing. You can download all of that into your own personal device and see all the things. And it's like really good because there's so much stuff you'll forget about. I mean, we have already dozens of restaurants kind of in both cities right now. And it's going to be great. We're going to be getting hungry. Oh, man, what we got? And there's going to be probably 2 or 3 things a couple blocks away from us at all times.
And
that's
the
just
beauty
super
of it,
convenient.
And the beauty of it, too, is like we don't have to go to these places, but there's just
Exactly.
things
Right.
that do
We
it
just
through our
know
research.
they interested us.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
They're just points of interest. And so, that's what we do. Also, I
think-
recommend just downloading Google Maps in general. You can go in and download an offline map of that location. That way you've got that. So all you're doing is using your, you're just pinging off the cellular towers. That's all the data you're using to basically identify your location. And even then,
GPS.
yeah. Well,
cellular.
No. It's cellular. When you're doing cellular on your phone, like the Google Maps on your phone, it's not pinging off a Google positioning satellite. It's using the cell towers around you to identify your location.
You said you downloaded the map though.
Yeah.
That is then using the GPS to find your location though.
No, it's using cell towers still. Yeah.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, it is. Still using cell towers. You're still using data. I can see the data going through.
I think
But,
you can
No, you
go
can
on
put it
there.
in airplane mode and it'll still work.
Yeah, I think you can do
Are you
that.
sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you sure about
confident.
that?
I use this when I'm backpacking.
I'm
I don't
pretty
use
sure-
Google
I-
Maps, but I use
think- I thi-
Maps.me, which is the same principle.
All right,
I
maybe I'm
think-
wrong.
I think Sean is right because I have also went into Canada, turned on airplane mode, and my GPS still brought me to the position. I didn't just kind of like, oh, shit, I'm
Well,
not
shit.
gonna make it.
Maybe I'm wrong.
We
then.
learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I think
I will say one of my primary methodologies with trips, and I tried to make this very clear when we were planning Japan, and I think we're all on the same track about it, which is we don't always need to do everything together, right?
yeah, I think that's an
And
important.
I think that's very
aspect.
good to establish, right? Because there are some people when they plan a trip that think, usually type A people, they're like, we need to have this itinerary
We need to
and
do
we need to
everything."
all act as a unit.
That's
and
you
everyone
speaking,
needs to
though,
be
Sean,
having
the most
same
type A of us.
experience. Well, but I am directly opposed to that because I fully realize that not everybody has the same interests and should be free to go do whatever they want to do. Obviously, we're going on a trip with a bunch of friends and we want to do things together, but that doesn't mean we need to do all the same things all the time, right? And I was trying to make that very clear when we were playing in Japan, saying like, hey, I might just want to go off and do something else, and that's okay.
Because,
right?
yeah,
you
'cause you're
guys, we can
yeah.
all do our own things.
You're of the mentality. It's
And-
like, I mean, if you really want to do something, yeah, it's like, it's better to just have that established than to kind of hurt people's feelings later on. And like,
Right,
there's
yeah.
the other thing. It's like some people just want to like sit at, I mean, in Barcelona, it's not going to be super warm when there, but some people might just want to sit at the beach the whole day. You know, they want to relax. We're
Yeah.
going to be jet lagged as hell. That's totally
and that's
cool.
totally fine.
That's totally cool.
But that's not what I want to do.
Right,
So
yeah.
I'm going to do something else, and
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
So,
that's,
yeah.
that's definitely a core concept in how I try and travel, especially with groups.
Yeah.
Do you guys specifically like to have, like, if we're in a group, do you guys specifically like to go off on your own, like be alone specifically at all? Is that like something you actually seek out, you think?
It
No.
depends on how drained I am. But
Okay.
Yeah.
So like if you're really drained, Sean, you might go off. You might be like, okay, I just really want to take a walk down the street and just like kind of
Yeah.
recover for an hour or two, kind of thing.
yeah, that could happen. You
Okay.
never know.
Yeah.
Not so much for me. I'm more of the I don't mind like, hey, let's do a group thing, but like half the group does this, and then maybe other people want to go do something. But it's more like I'd like to do stuff with other people because
Yeah.
that's part of the experience, right? Is having fun with other people, right? But I'm not usually the one to go. I'm gonna go solo. Like there's a couple experiences. Like for instance, I think one was Japan where I'm like I am wasted right now. I need to
Oh.
take a nap, and I just like head back to the hotel, and you guys still partied. I think that was one of the things. What was it? Yeah, but like that's one example of it, right?
Yeah.
You also
But I
guys
think
were-
that's also totally okay. 'Cause I think
Yeah.
you made the right
And you don't
decision because you
have-
would have been destroyed the next day if you kept going with
Oh,
us.
dude, I would have been one destroyed, and two, like I was already dead tired, and like I'm bad about that too because like when I get really drunk, I'm usually the type of person. I'm the type of person who just passes out. Like I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm done. Give me
you are.
your
I'm like,
room.
I'm super tired. The alcohol hits me,
Guess
and
I'll
like
pass
all like
out.
the what is it the I don't know what it is. Like I just get really sleepy. and
You're
I'm
just like you're. I'm
especially
done.
yeah, I'm done. Also, I was really drunk because I think I had an extra strong like the tall boy strong
Yeah,
zeros
yeah.
over you guys. And I was like, we're reminiscing on Japan, but yeah,
Which is, I mean, to go along with that, I mean, like, that's the kind of thing, the atmosphere, I guess, or group vibe I want to encourage, which is the sense that, like, listen, you gotta do what's best for you, and if that means not going out drinking with friends, that's the best thing that you should do, right? And it can be for any situation, you know, and I don't want necessarily anybody to have, you know, bad feelings about that or feel like they're missing out because, you know, you got to do what's best for you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And like for the vice versa, right? Because it can happen to any one of us, right? I could be like, you know what? I got to go back to the hotel, you know? And I want the people going out not to feel bad that they're leaving me out. And I want to an understanding that I am okay with that, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to foster.
we're all individuals coalescing as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we all enjoy each other's company, but yeah, sometimes I mean, especially drunk. I mean, that's like a scenario you have that, you know,
Yeah.
you would need to go home. You need to go home. Yeah.
The
it's-
other
yeah.
thing I would say that we do is we tend to spend more time in like we try to maximize our time in specific areas. Like I know we talked initially during this trip, but like we had about 10 days, 11 days maybe maximum to do, right? Since one of our friends, we have to coincide with their spring break. They're still in school. So what we're like, all right, what do we do? And we talked about like, oh, maybe go down to Valencia or Seville or something like that, right? We all know
Yeah.
we want to go to Spain, but we're like, all right, just stick with these two cities. And I feel like we did that with Japan too. Is you try to maximize your time and try to enjoy.
Yeah,
all
don't
of it.
overextend.
Yeah. I
It
find
is a
that
big thing.
can be a problem, especially like with international trips. It's like, oh, you only spent 2 days in this city. It's like, oh, we saw this city. And it's like, no, you really didn't. You didn't get to have like
Yeah.
any experience, right? You know, even in like 5-6 days, who knows how much of an quote unquote experience you'll have. But
Right.
you're still spending more time and exploring and enjoying the nightlife or whatever you want there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So try to
I agree. I think definitely don't overextend. I think personally, you want to spend several days in any city you go to, and more if you can. Right. The last time I went to Europe prior to this, I had a lot of time to work with, but definitely some cities we said, okay, we're going to spend 3 days there, and then another city we said, okay, we're going to spend 11 days there. You know.
yeah.
Just because we want to maximize time, or not maximize, but really get into the city and see things. And that means you don't have to rush, right? You can take things at a leisurely pace and really enjoy things more than
Yeah.
you would
And
otherwise.
Also, I feel like with that, the mentality that we're against, right, is that you tend to see, oh, let's go to this attraction, this tour spot, and it's more like checking boxes off a list rather
Yeah, I don't
than
like doing that.
going
like
experiencing
yeah,
them. And also,
experiencing it.
to me, the benefits of travel are the spontaneous moments, right? One of the biggest ones to me is the Japan of like just running into that random dude at the bar. It was like what the British guy, the French guy that we're sitting next to at the izakaya, and then like the one disabled Japanese man and his wife.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're just
Yeah.
like just drinking and just having a good time. And
I agree.
And that was totally because we're like, I'm feeling hungry.
Exactly,
Like,
right.
let's eat
I
here.
do agree. It's like the spontaneous, not checking things off a checklist. I mean, I think it kind of goes into if you're really into kind of trying to get the cities or the country's culture, going to the tourist spots is just kind of inherently not going to fully give it to you, I feel like.
yeah,
Right.
You know,
still try
I-
to go to some places
go to
because they're
them.
cool, right? I mean,
But this is why it's good that we all like going to bars, because this is kind of something where it's like we can go out in the city.
Yeah.
I think Spain has a pretty big like nightlife culture, right? Because they eat
Yeah,
dinner so
they
late.
are,
You
it
have
really
to
does.
have a pretty good nightlife culture.
yeah.
So
that's
it's-
that's other
it's
great advice.
Yeah.
Just adapt to
One
the
of my-
culture there. Don't try to be the stereotypical American and
Don't try to force your American view
Yeah. Right, yeah.
or wherever you
Like-
come from on place.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're in their country. You're their guest. In a way.
Yeah, and like you're going to stand out as a foreigner regardless, right? Just because of like
Oh, yeah.
just because
it's
you
just
got the
because, right?
backpack,
Look, because
you got-
Sean's wearing
yeah.
a tank top and shorts in Europe. Yeah, no, but you're gonna stand out. But try to
Japan.
adapt to the culture and try to at least show some appreciation, because when you talk to
Just be
actual
respectful.
locals, right? Yeah, they really appreciate it, and you come across as a tourist who actually like gives a fuck.
Yeah,
and,
who wants to
um,
understand?
Yeah, and isn't just there to cross things off their list and take advantage of the culture. And
I mean-
you tend to have a lot better experiences that way, especially with
When
locals.
as an American in America, right, I approach every situation with 100% confidence I am in the right as a true American, right?
Yeah,
However, if I'm overseas in another country, I approach every situation as if I am in the wrong. And I'm like, listen, sorry about this, but I'm here, you know?
I am here.
And that, I think, gets you by a lot further than if you barge into the situation assuming you're right.
Yeah,
you know?
That's not how to do it for sure, assuming that you're right. One thing that I wanted to share as well for experiencing the culture, and something that I really, really now enjoy doing ever since going to Japan, is if you're going to a new country, trying to go into a rural area, as lame, quote unquote, as that might sound, if you're really trying to get a good
just out of the
trying to just
city,
get something
yeah.
out of the culture, I feel
Countryside.
that is one of the best ways to do it. It's you're gonna get, now you got all the tourist stuff out of the way. This is why I'm really excited to go to the castle. We'll be by a bunch of vineyards. We'll be by
Yeah,
a
we're
bunch
going
of
to be
people.
way out of the way.
We're gonna be by a bunch of people who don't even know how to speak English. That's where you want to be, and I'm really excited for that, because that's just so unfiltered.
Yeah.
So many people in the country live like that, live out in those areas that you would see if you just stay in the city.
Yeah.
And the country's made up
I'm
of all
also
these different
really
people.
glad for that portion we'll have a local
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
to be some sort of guide. You
and
know?
you have
I'm
three people
excited.
who speak rough or two people who speak rough Spanish and someone who speaks it fluently. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good time, and I think we've done a very good job of maximizing our time in the several places we're going.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't overextend. I think we were initially, right? We reeled it back in, and then now we're
Yep.
pretty set.
Yeah,
And I cannot believe it's how close the
It's
trip
a
is going to be.
T-minus 1 week,
It
lads.
came up really quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
T-minus
really quick.
1 week. I'm
It's
gonna
nuts.
be in. Will I be in New York right now? I think I'll be maybe on the plane to Madrid right now, like just getting on the plane and taking off
Flying out of
So-
By the
JFK.
time this releases or
out of
something.
JFK. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, this is gonna be a good trip, especially for our group, just because we are so. We don't have to plan everything. Spain's gonna have so much to do. It's like you don't need to plan anything. You just need to get to the city and just go experience stuff, and then you'll be
Well,
great. That's all you really
and
need
to
to
me,
do.
The best part, okay, I forgot to say this earlier, but one of my main mottos or one of my main philosophies for trip planning is to plan to not have a plan.
Yeah.
Just make it up. But what I was going to say, in addition to what you were saying, Colton, is to have fun in another country can be as simple, and for me, is as simple as just going to a bakery or a cafe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that are so different about how other countries do things that it's just gonna be a useful experience or an enjoyable experience. And if you approach it with that mindset, then I think you'll have a better time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think being a super big planner does take the fun out of it. Just being
Yeah.
able to, go with the flow. Go with the flow.
You know, some
and-
people
yeah.
really like that, and that's what they derive joy, and I think that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I would suggest taking
Yeah.
a step back.
Yeah,
And
be able
give
to
it a
not
shot.
have everything go perfectly.
Absolutely. And also, but we're also kind of planning for our audience, right? Like we're working together with people who share the same mindset of
Right.
get certain things in place, right? You have people who are slightly more type A and people who are just totally like not, right? And I'd say Sean, Alex, and I are probably the most type A of the group, right? Carly is a little type A too, but for the most part, that like we're the trip planners, right? We're the ones trying to navigate all this stuff,
Orchestrate.
or we're the project managers. And yeah, just let people do their thing. You don't have to be, right on time for everything. You can just, as long as you know where you're going and how you're going to get there, then you basically enjoy the trip. Also, I would suggest don't set your expectations super high, right? I think one thing with people when they go overseas, they set it to like, oh, this is going to be some extravagant trip. No, just set it as this is going to be just an experience and try to take
a new experience.
a new experience and try to take in whatever you get, because I feel with that mentality, you'll have a lot less like disappointment because, especially in a much more fluid way that we're doing here, even if you're planning things by the book, right? Or like very like rigidly, there's always going to be a problem, right? There's always going to be something that doesn't work out, and that may cloud your view of the trip moving forward. But if you just take things as they are and don't expect this crazy thing, it's just going to try to enjoy the experience as much as possible. You'll have a lot more fun and be a lot more free than if you were, trying to be rigid and have set this high expectation.
Something you said ties into another one of my mottos, which is, it's not an adventure until something goes wrong.
That's very true. Yeah. And
Which
honestly,
is huge for me. Cause like if we had missed a train in Japan, right? Like, oh, it's an adventure now. Like,
How are we gonna get home?
let's
Like,
figure it out.
well, shit,
I
yeah.
love that.
but here's the thing
that's
is
good.
and usually it works out in the end, right?
Right, yeah.
If you miss a train,
It's not the end of the world.
there's another train. You just have to arrive a little bit later. That's why you put in gaps, right? For instance, I think a really good example is our last hotel is like a hotel and close to the airport. So we're all leaving at different times. I think some of us leave at 6 a.m., which is insane. I leave at like 2 in the afternoon, like riding easy there. But
Yeah. I forgot when I leave.
yeah, right. But as long as you try to be flexible, but also give room for those if problems arise, because expect problems to arise. There's always going to be problems.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's
you're
what
gonna,
makes them fun.
You're gonna get
Exactly,
content. I mean, okay, content. I say content. That's like kind of shallow. It makes a good story, and you can have a lot of fun. And it's just, it's almost like you want something to go wrong. Yeah, I mean, it's like
in a way,
you guys
yeah.
are saying.
Like
you aren't gonna
you don't,
have,
but you do.
Oh, I leave at 6 a.m. Dang it.
Oh, bummer, Sean. You just aren't gonna get some of the more unique experiences if everything goes to plan. I want to go here, blah blah blah. That's so vanilla. You're not gonna get anything extra out of that. You're gonna see some cool stuff. But if some guy comes up to you and is like, slaps you on your butt and runs away, and that's a story. That's not an example of something going wrong. But that's just that's just a weird thing that might happen.
Yeah.
And it's great.
The other thing that I would like to mention, and I say this from, it's a weird perspective. So I used to not take a lot of pictures, and I still don't. I'm still not good about it. but actually take a lot of photos, because I found that like I used to not take a lot of pictures because I don't like taking pictures of people.
60 a second, baby.
It's more about like taking okay, maybe not that. Maybe not Sean recording literally.
I was saying
everything we do.
video. That's why.
Yes, I know.
Make it a joke.
But I know you're making a joke, Sean. I'll clap for
I
you.
agree with you.
Yeah. No, but take photos, because for me it's more about, or as I realized as I got older, I'm like, oh, I forgot this experience, or I forgot these moments, right? And the photo always brings back that poof of memory, right? I always gave criticism to my dad because like he would videotape everything and like, or, like take a lot of photos, especially with like me or other people we were with in it. And I'm like, all right. Personally, I still don't take photos with a bunch of other people, but I like to take photos of places because it usually brings back this very vivid memory of what we were doing around that, and like this essentially this tiny mini story. And those can make a conversation with someone, right? You can meet someone and you can be like exchanging, like I've met people who have also like visited different countries and they're like, oh, this is awesome, right? A friend of mine from grade school, right? We had gone, I met him at a bar one time. We had not spoken to each other in like 5-10 years or something like that, like crazy. And he's like, oh yeah, I visited Japan too. And we're like trading stories and stuff. Right. And so you have like these little moments that really create bonds and, can catapult different kinds of relationships, right? You can always like pull something, right? Or even if you don't share that experience, you can usually relate because you have a similar experience in just a different context. Maybe it's a different country, but the same like feeling or the same emotions evoked from it, or the opposite, which is a totally like same country, same experience, but you got completely different feelings from it. So yeah, I always find it to be a great way to like essentially break ice or bond over certain moments in your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I think. I mean, what you were saying, Michael, is like my methodologies. That's why I record everything, and try and do all sorts of recording to make a video at the end, so it can be a landmark of memories, for myself and others, and like when you were talking with this person about Japan, like one thing I don't know if you did, but one thing you could do is bring up the Japan video and see all these things we did and whatnot. And
I did, yeah. No, thank you so much for making that, because I showed that to like my family and stuff, and like showed them this. I showed. I did not show that person Japan video, but like other things like just mostly my family is like, hey, this is the experience, or like this moment. I would literally go, all right, this is at the 18-minute mark. I'm gonna go to here and be like, yeah, this is awesome. So
and I really like to do stuff like that, and I had to make a really hard personal choice for this trip, which is I'm not bringing a camera on it. Right?
Yeah, a full camera.
Like usually for international trips, I mean Japan, previous Europe trip, I brought my DSLR, right? And it's just too much, especially now that I have multiple GoPros, or at least one. I'm doing enough. I struggle also with, how much am I in the moment versus how much am I recording? And I always try and make sure that I'm recording second to living in the moment, right? Which means I'm not always framing up the shot correctly or doing all that fun stuff, whatnot, to make an actual good video, from a cinematography standpoint. But I think it works so far. But I always really like to take, because I do really like pictures for how much I take video now. I started when I did these trips taking pictures of things, and I have hundreds and hundreds of pictures from my, actually thousands of pictures from my trip throughout Europe. And I think, not to my own horn, but I did a really good job with the
You have some great pictures.
And
I mean, you have a couple on your wall that I'm like, dude, that's just an awesome picture. To me, the one that always speaks is actually not so much the European one, but the Inari Shrine. You got an actually perfect photo of just the Inari and like the Infinite Gate kind of system.
Took some work, that one, to wait until people were out of the frame for that.
Yeah, right.
It's like a lot of work.
Well, we had to like also get there at like 6 or 7 a.m., right?
We get there earlier, I think, which helped us. We would never have gotten it later.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to, before this trip, get a new camera and take that with me, which I'm still debating about. I could I could and then return it.
Run the
But
best
I don't want to do that. That's not usually my style. And it's definitely a very hard choice for myself personally, because it's recording moments and stuff is very much, near and dear to what I like to do. So we'll see where it ends up. But as of this moment, I plan to only take several GoPros, and then Colton will get one, someone else will get another, and then I'll take one myself and make a bunch of content.
Yeah. It's almost
Content's the wrong word, right? Because
It-
content
yeah.
intent means I intend to
And content, honestly,
entertain people.
has almost like a negative.
This is for me. Like
Yeah.
the videos are for me, and then if anyone else wants to derive entertainment out of it / memories, then that's on them. But
yeah.
I don't know if there's a word for that.
just like your own personal content.
Moments.
Yeah.
Moments, recording moments.
This is why this is kind of like why I almost prefer doing the Sean method of recording too, because I like living in the moment, and the recording is like it's just a more fun way to take a photo almost, and it gets more of whatever we're doing. It gives you the context better.
Yeah.
So I actually
Life in motion.
this is kind of like I suck at taking pictures, and I feel like now it's like yes, I will just use Sean's GoPro. This is the way.
Honestly,
this
Colton, you're
is all
pretty
I
good at
need.
like doing like the
Colton's a
handheld.
way better narrator than I am.
He is.
So
he's very good.
We are.
I want to be better at it this trip, I think.
I'd like to get a good vlog style. Like we're just gonna go ham this trip. I think it's gonna be.
Yeah, I want to try a couple new things, right? I want to try and get more B-roll, right?
Oh yeah,
to
sure.
just make a because I always like every time I do, especially a big trip, I like to do something new or innovate in the video style that I make, and it's normally very hard because I'm not like naturally good at it. It takes a lot of work, I think, to make something decent, and
But
we'll see where it ends up.
But the cool thing about that is like it's almost like cooler when you do that, because it's not like you're like, you actually have to like put a lot of effort into making something awesome. And
Yeah.
so you can really appreciate that, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's almost like when you're playing like a survival game or something like that, where you have to like spend hours like doing something, right, just to make like one thing. It's like, all right, spending this time and this effort adds extra value, right? Yes, talented people, it's awesome to be talented, but actually putting the effort in is pretty damn cool.
It's
right?
almost.
I mean, I remember.
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
Sorry,
Go
what were you
ahead.
saying, Colton?
No, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
I remember so I don't know if you guys have seen the video I made for my Europe trip back in the day, but it was one of those things where I was editing that in college, right? It was the in between high school and college that I did this trip, and I had all the footage, and I remember being in my dorm room freshman year, editing this thing or trying to, and I had a whole idea for how I was going to do it, and it just was taking forever, and then because I had hours and hours and hours of footage, right?
Yeah.
So much, and I wasn't. It was coming out, and then I just got an idea, had an epiphany, and then stayed up like the entire night putting together like the rough outline of the final video, and then over the next 2 days refined it, and then it was done, right? But before then, it took me months, just to get to that point.
This is kind of
So,
cool though. Don't you love those
I-
moments? It's like this
Yeah.
is how you do it.
Like you're ready to go. It's almost like those shorts you can watch on YouTube/almostapodcast.com.
Oh
my God.
Plug there.
Self plug. Let's go.
plug.
I hope that the things that we have talked about have maybe helped someone reevaluate or just think differently about how they approach travel.
Yeah. Especially people who maybe grew up traveling in a way that maybe conflicted with them. I know for me, that's how it was. Grew up in a very different way of traveling. It was much more go here, boom, 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 boom. And developing our own thing together has really expanded upon those experices. So
Yeah.
I'm
almost
really thankful for that.
Yeah, almost sounds like the last travel tip is like consider getting a GoPro and bringing it with you, or like consider trying a vlog, because that is a fun part of it. It does relive the moment quite well.
Yeah.
So I love it. So
But also at the same time, just don't take it too seriously. Just
don't take it too
Yeah,
seriously.
like-
Just
sure, why the fuck not?
Live in the moment, I
Yeah.
think is the biggest tip you can say. Don't let showing off get in the way of
Yeah.
living there.
Honestly, that's my biggest argument. Yeah. Also, just don't show off in general. Like, just try to be just normal. Right?
Just be normal.
yeah.
Not always easy for everybody, but I think that'll just about do it for this episode of Almost Podcast. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I guess in a couple weeks you'll hear about our Spain trip.
Yeah,
so
I
thanks
hope
for
so.
listening, everybody.
Who knows? Maybe we just like
Maybe we
you know,
just,
get
Completely
kidnapped.
gloss over it.
yeah, maybe we go like, yeah, that was fun. All right, the topic today is
I've seen Taken.
Jeez, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Everyone else plugs enough. I'm not going to plug this episode.
Yeah.
I did plug us pretty hard there at the event last.
You already did.
That wasn't that hard. That was just normal.
Well, okay,
plug.
it's a self plug, but yeah, hey, whatever.
All right. One day we will get there. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye bye.